For obvious reasons, there has been a firestorm over the church terrorizing of Don Lemon and the peaceful protesters. As the days following the fallout or the fall in, and it's been what? 1 week since you looked at me. Okay, so this happened Sunday. We haven't seen anybody arrested yet. And this is a problem. But we have had some reassurances, and what we're covering today is basically the fallout, the aftermath, the day after tomorrow's yesterday's Sunday, the day after yesterday's, today after tomorrow's yesterday's. Remember the movie The Day After Tomorrow? It's like, what? What? We got Mike Davis confirms. Okay, indictments coming for Don Lemon and leftist mob attacking Christians. Use the Biden playbook. You are going to see indictments under 18 USC 248, which is a face violation, and 18 USC 241, conspiracy against rights. That's exactly what the Biden Justice Department did to Christians. Don Lemon and his co-conspirators violated both. You do not have the right to conspire with your Klan members to shut down church services. So, wow. Now, wouldn't it have been better and more epic if he was arrested yesterday on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, where he would be hit with the Klan Act? Oh my God. Would that have not been epic? I mean, just epic. Well, Don Lemon and the protesters that stormed a Christian church on Sunday feel emboldened because they believe they can get away with it. Now, the problem is that they have been getting away with a lot of crap. A lot of crap. We're going into 3 weeks now, people? 3 weeks? And he hasn't sent in the troops? He hasn't said, hey, I'm acting the Insurrection Act and the sedition charges against Tampon Tim and Little Fry. If charges are filed, they will push the case to a jury and count on Minneapolis to acquit them, no matter how obvious the evidence is. They know how the game works, and they are betting on it. What are they really playing as a perception game? Let's see. If a jury lets them walk, millions of people who do not understand how jury dynamics or venue biases works will assume the verdict means the activists were right all along. This becomes proof in the public mind. The result is predictable. More people get radicalized, pressure against ICE intensifies, and the next disruption becomes even more aggressive. They are playing the long game. Undermine the law, create chaos, and then point to the adequate as moral validation. Well, I don't know. Maybe I need to seek attorney's advice. So if they're gonna charge him in the state, could they not charge him? Is this a federal crime? I guess what she's saying here. I don't know. Or is it just a state crime? So Donald Trump said this. And this goes to what we just read with that article we just read about that guy saying we're expecting they're looking for the DOJ and them to for some charges to just come down on these people. We're waiting. But this is what the Biden administration did. A small group of elderly ladies were protesting at an abortion clinic and were given 40 years in prison for violating the FACE Act. I would like to see the same kind of sentence for Don Lemon and the people that broke into that church and did that during the services. Now, keep in mind, these people that they arrested, these women were elderly women in their 80s, 70s, and 80s. I'm telling you, the left are brutal. They don't give a damn. And we've been too nice. We've been too passive. the Republican Party, which I think we should just become the mega party. And we need to unleash the lions. And let's go and get these people. Let's go and get these people. So this is a tweet of what we just read. And this is alarming. So this is an American citizen who obviously is upset. Obviously. He says you're 100% correct. If the DOJ, FBI, and the rest of the federal law enforcement don't comply, crush this rebellion against our country in about a week, or at the very most, two, I don't see any other option but the patriotic citizens to take matters into their own hands. This has gone way too far. It's a miracle several of them haven't been shot in the face yet in self-defense while in the act of pulling people out of cars, stabbing people, assaulting them with violent mobs, etc. What are the Trump feds waiting for? Wow. Send in the Marines, baby. Andrew Branca tweets 5 hours ago, this crosses a legal line, and Don Lemon put it all on camera. In Minnesota, Don Lemon openly participated in an Operation Pull-Up action where a Christian church was invaded during worship. On video. On video, Lemon watches children fleeing in fear and states that the action was uncomfortable and traumatic. Then explicitly says that's the point of protesting. And you watched my last two videos, that's exactly what he did. That's not journalism. That's intentionally intimidation of civilians, including minors inside a house of worship. The First Amendment does not protect trespassers, disruptions, or religious exercises, or coordinated harassment, especially when the stated goal is trauma. Lemon then interviews and promotes Nikma, whatever, Levy Armstrong, an activist leader behind the operation, instead of alerting the law enforcement. Exactly. I was saying this too. It's like, why didn't he call the police? He knew exactly what was going on. After having advanced knowledge of the clandestine action, cameras don't grant immunity. Speech restrains Congress. It does not authorize mobs to terrorize families at church. Oops, sorry. I don't know what is up. I got a happy mouse. Terrorizes family at church when media figures help plan, execute, and normalize that conduct. The issue isn't protest, it's accountability under the law. So we all know that he filmed it all. He filmed it all. And we got the faces of so many people. We have faces of so many people from the video. Now, this was posted 17 hours ago. Tricia McCollum just confirmed that there will be mugshots and swift justice coming for Don Lemon and others. The American people will have answers, and there will be justice, and there will be mugshots. Okay. We're waiting. I got another clip here. Somebody reposted Real American's Voice. Independent source confirms DOJ and DHS has Don Lemon's camera footage. Seems there's a whole of government approach and to bring accountability. We can only hope. I'm going to make sure this is not going to be too loud. I'm going.
Just tell you, an independent source has just confirmed with me that the DOJ and DHS has possession of all the camera footage from Don Lemon showing what appears to be a violation of the FACE Act. So it seems like there's a whole of government approach to dealing with this and bringing accountability. I hope that this happens. I think that they deserve it, and we'll see what happens. So, I think that's important, though. So they just tell you, an independent.
Well, let me tell you something. Independents confirmed DOJ and DHS has Don Lemon's camera footage. Well, we all have Don Lemon's camera footage. Breaking news right now. Everybody on the planet has Don Lemon's camera footage. The 6.5 hour live feed via TikTok No, what I want to see, does the DOJ have communications between Don Lemon and that quacky woman who's a supposedly a reverend and a civil rights attorney? Okay, so her name is Nikma Levy Armstrong. I guess that's how you say her name. I really don't care. She is a moron. I was one of my videos I did yesterday was just all the comments that were on Don Lemon's 6.5 hour live coverage of the terrorism attack, and then him talking to dumbasses all day all around the city. Yeah, it was pathetic. The rest of it, the whole thing was pathetic. What a scumbag. What a maroon. What a scumbag. Well, now this woman. So so when I was looking at the posts, somebody had posted, because I did a video on just the comments, because they were all like against this. There's over 3,000 comments. He had over 300,000 views on this particular video. So I think it was a lot of people like me, and everybody's just clipping it and right. But somebody had wrote that, I guess I'm going to paraphrase. In fact, I'm going to add to it. The irony is that a criminal, not a criminal, a civil rights attorney is breaking civil rights laws. I was like, man, I wish I would have thought of that. It was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. Talking about this woman, Nikema Levy Armstrong, is supposedly a civil rights attorney, and she's yet breaking civil rights. So I said it, I'll say it again. She's absolutely a DEI hire. She should have known not to do this, right? She should have known this more than any of us little layman people. But this is interesting here, guys. This person said she just posted everyone involved and then pinned it to her profile. She pinned this to her profile. So I think she's feeling emboldened and feeling like the DOJ, they're not going to go after her. What? She's just feeling like, yeah, we did this, and these are all the people involved here, and we stand by what we did. And let's take a look at this. How many friends? Here is a clip of our demonstration this morning at City's Church in St. Paul. David Eastwood at East St. Paul. Good Lord. David Eastwood is a pastor at this church and the acting field director for the ICE officer in St. Paul. So what? What a moron. And I don't even know if that's been confirmed yet. I don't even know. I haven't looked. I haven't researched it. I was just getting show prep on the aftermath of the terrorist attack. That's what we're going to call it, because it literally was. It's time for judgment to begin. Wow, those are strong words. It's time for judgment. It is time for judgment to begin. And it will begin in the house of God. Wow. Wow. Bro. What is happening? What is happening? Thank you to all of the activists, the peaceful protesters who showed up, plus independent journalists. George Fort, Don Lemon, DeWake Farmer 2, Brent X Hughes. Special thanks to Monica Collars, Doughty, Chantilly Allen, Santira Strong Allen for co-organizing this mission from Black Lives Matter Minnesota, Black Lives Matter Twin Cities Metro, along with Racial Justice Network. Oh my God. So she's just completely implicated Don here. She says he is a co-op. for co-organizing this mission. No, he was just following those people there. He didn't know what was going to happen, but he's just a journalist. But it sounds like he helped co-op and help organize this from her own mouth. From her own mouth. I don't know, guys. It seems to me like, are you the stupidest attorney on the planet? Or is she the biggest bolding? She's got the biggest balls to feel like nothing can touch me. Nothing can touch me. Like we just read, well, are they going to get special treatment because they're going to be tried there and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we need to see about all of that. Look at this also. This guy says, holy manoli, one of the Christian terrorizers who stormed the Minneapolis church in St. Paul's. In St. Paul's, she's a school board member. Chantley Allen. Her name is on that other page we just read. Wow. Wow. She is a St. Paul school board member. I can't even read this morning. I mean, is this irony or just reverse that?
I would fully expect, and we are preparing for, an influx of more agents, more of the very visible public theatrics of the raids, of the harassments, and you got faith leaders here. I would not put it past this administration to target midnight mass services amongst folks going to worship, because that's who they are. I would fully expect.
Because that's who they are, not us. That's the Trump administration. That's ICE. That's Border Patrol. Wow. All right. I thought it was funny. I did. All right. Don Lemon had been making the scenes, and this was 15 hours ago. This was posted. Lemon describes the upset church members as entitled and rooted in white supremacy, arguing their expectations of interpretation stems from historical privileges tied to Christianity and white male dominance in America. Is that the most retarded thing you've ever heard? White privilege Americans tied to Christianity? Christianity is on the attack, and so are white people. They want us gone. They want us replaced by third world, low IQ invaders, so they can stay. So the left could stay in power forever. Forever. Now, I found. Oh, good night. Come on, work with me. Work with me. All right, let's hear what Don has to say to the one of the witches of Eastwick.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean that's not the type of Christianity you practice? What are you saying? What are you saying?
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah,
we left England for Christian freedom? No. We left England to expand their empire. Why did we have the Revolutionary War? Was to cut ties with them. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I could be. I'm not an expert, but maybe I need to look that up. I got to look that up. All right, we went and got the facts, baby. We went and got the facts because every day's a learning. It says historically this claim holds up as partially accurate, but requires nuance. Many earlier English colonists, such as the Pilgrims who arrived on the Mayflower in 1620, did indeed flee England to escape religious persecution under King James I and the Church of England. They sought the freedom to practice their separatist Puritan faith without interference. Similarly, the larger wave of Puritans in the 1630s established the Massachusetts Bay Colony with religious motivations at the forefront, aiming to create a city upon the hill. Reagan said that. As a model Christian society, religious freedom was a key driver for groups like Quakers, Catholics, and others who settled in colonies such as Pennsylvania and Maryland. They said that the reality was more complex, not universally. Not all immigrants came for religious reasons. Economic opportunities, land acquisition, trade were major factors for many, including in Virginia, founded in 1607, primarily for profit by the Virginia Company. Those evil white profiteers who built this great nation, they were just evil profiteers. Limited scope. The religious freedom pursued by these groups often meant freedom for their own beliefs, not tolerance for others. For instance, Puritans in New England persecuted dissenters like Anna Hitchison and Quakers, leading to executions and banishment. Broader context. Indigenous peoples were already here, and the transatlantic slave trade brought millions involuntary with no freedom involved. Later waves of immigration, the 19th and 20th centuries, were driven more by economic hardship, political instability, and opportunity than religion. Overall, while religious freedom was a significant motivator for some fundamental groups, it's an oversimplification to say it was the reason Americans came to this country, as motivations varied widely across time, regions, and peoples. Lemon's phrasing aligns with a common historical narrative taught in schools, but critics might argue it ignores exclusive and hypocrisy in how that freedom was applied. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. This is Jennifer Welch. You can call her Jennifer Witch if you like.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement.
Religious groups like that. So what is he talking about? The Baptist church that he just terrorized, right? That they are some evil force upon America, for Pete's sake. And that's not the Christianity that he practices. Well, I would like to know, what does he practice? Who's his master? What is he talking about? I'm just asking questions here because it blows my mind that these innocent people scared children, and he just walks up casually and says, look, there's a parent hugging their child. That child must be terrorized. Yeah, it must be pretty terrifying, but this is what protest is all about. What kind of Christian is that? Just saying.
Entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy.
A supremacy.
And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said,
Wow.
Don, you're a gay black man in America. And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that.
I was the biggest name out there. It's all about me. No, buddy, you filmed it live as it was happening. And everybody clipped it. It had nothing to do with you're a big loser. Literally. I mean, and you're not a journalist. You're not. All right, so now there's been the battles of the Nicki Minaj and the Don Lemon, the Don, and this is kind of nasty language, but this is what Nicki Minaj posted yesterday on her X account. Don cocksucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. He probably wouldn't have done it to a black church. And so then she has this Chucky doll up. Wow. This is somebody who posted on her X account. I keep wanting to say Twitter. This is the same man who goes home every day to his white husband, yet parades himself as a pro-black, questioning black people's authenticity, and telling others to prove theirs. Telling others to prove their blackness while feeling bold enough to speak on Nicki Minaj. Oh my God. This is an alcoholic who was fired from a 17-year career because of a long documented pattern of misogyny. I did not go see if any of these allegations are true. I've heard a lot of people say that why he was fired from CNN. Hostility and disrupting behavior. Multiple women, workplace culture where he engaged in aggressive, abusive, and violent behavior. Probably he was jealous that they were women and he wasn't. Including incidents where colleagues said that they felt threatened, intimidated, or physically unsafe around the Don. Add to that, he joked at Bill Cosby's victim and asked her why didn't she use teeth. Ooh. Actually, I did read something about that earlier. And yes, allegations of abuse towards both women and men have followed him publicly for years, especially after a bartender said he was harassed by him in 2019. Major anti-Semitism awareness and organizations publicly condemned him after he stated that black and brown Jews don't exist. Erasing entire communities and historians is in one sentence, something he was called out for immediately. Let's see what this says. Lemon's most repugnant suggestion was this. There are ways not to perform oral you-know-what. He went on to clarify that he meant the using of the teeth as a weapon to stop the alleged assault pretty callously. Why didn't you bite his you-know-what off if you didn't want to perform oral you-know-what? Lemon continued, if you didn't want to do it, in other words, you really wanted it. Lemon's misogyny and CNN, at CNN, exposed malicious texts mocking female co-workers and diva-like behavior. I think he was just jealous of the women. He wished he was one of them. The Don Lemon is doubling down on his radicalism. This deuce thinks that storming churches is what it looks like to be on the right side of history. He seems to think everything is a great game and he's untouchable. At some point, there has to be consequences. And I think throwing this boss in jail is a great start. This poser, I guess I want to try to say poser. And this is a clip from, he did a live show yesterday evening. I haven't had a chance to go through it. I haven't had a chance to go through it, but some people have clipped it. Now, I saw before I got offline yesterday, and I had mentioned it in my last video. He had went live to, what was he doing? He was analyzing and reviewing The video he just did on Sunday. That's what he was doing. And he had the AG from Minneapolis on there, and then some other guy, some other old guy. I may have a clip of him saying, they were all saying the most retarded stuff. But this is a clip from that episode, him reviewing and reacting to his own live video, a 6.5 video that he did on Sunday. That's what he did. That is what he did.
It's not that I'm not taking this seriously. And just because I smile doesn't mean that I'm not taking something seriously. But you're not going to steal my joy. And I'm standing on the side of the ancestors, and I'm standing on the right side of history and on the Constitution and on rights and all of the above. So do I take it seriously? Sure. But you're not going to steal my joy. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to laugh about it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to drag me down. I see the ridiculousness of this. I see the hypocrisy in this. I get it. And so at the end of the day, my spirit, I am calm. I've been telling Monique, you know what? Okay, fine. Do what you must. But I already know what's going to happen. And it's not going to, and at the end of the day, you're going to look like a fool. And so, I'm good. It's not that I'm not taking.
What? Okay. He's married, whatever, to a white guy. How does his boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, it's disgusting. I think I just threw up in my mouth. Oh my God. Anyway. So his boyfriend, live-in partner, whatever you want to call it, is white. How does this guy feel about the nonsense that comes out of his mouth? Maybe he doesn't care because, they're probably making a good living. I don't even know what his boyfriend does for a living, but he says it's white privilege. I've always wanted to know, where is my white privilege, because I lost that card. I never got one issued to me. I never got one issued, and I can't find it. I don't know where to go get it. Can somebody tell me how to get a white privilege card? Because damn, that's all I got to say. Damn. All right, Nakima Armstrong, one of the organizers of the crime perpetrated on the Christians in Minnesota yesterday, which this was done 18 hours ago, so it was on Sunday, says it's gaslighting to ask her if she went too far. What? She don't want to be gaslighted by being asked questions? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Listen. I'm not going to go down this line of questioning with you. This is gaslighting. Who has gone too far is Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, J.D. Vance, and the people who run ICE.
She tells me that they're not worried about the Department of Justice investigating them because they investigate everyone. That's what she said. And she also says that they feel like the media focusing on this is gaslighting the American people about what's happening here. Now, we also do know DHS sources confirming that an ICE supervisor is one of the pastors at this church here, Natasha.
Listen.
Well,
Listen.
That roll neck's killing me. Anyway. So, does that make it okay that maybe there is a DHS guy that's at the church? And why is it Trump's fault? Trump's gaslighting Pam Bondi, all of them. Wow. Somebody's paying her, my guy. Somebody actually is paying her. Why? Again, it's rhetorical. Why do these people want these criminals in the country? Why? Somebody's paying them, because it doesn't make sense that you want grapers, murderers, pedos in the country. And the rest of us want even the other people out if they're here illegally. They need to leave. And I think a lot of them did take the money and go so they could come back legally. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But these people are such hypocrites. Her, Don Lemon, all of them are hypocrites. Where Obama was deporting tons of people. Nobody said nothing. In fact, CNN went on a ride-along with ICE agents. They did a whole episode, like a 60 Minutes episode on CNN. They went around how, what they have to go through and what they're doing. They made a whole event show on CNN. Primetime viewing with ICE, right? All positive. Obama, Clinton in the State of the Union addresses, talking about the illegals and how detrimental it is. Chuck U. Schumer on the Senate floor years ago talking about, we can't have illegals. It's going to affect our economy. Boy, they just switch on a dime, or they don't realize that there's archived footage. But the problem is that nobody's researching. Nobody's looking up this stuff. They're just hearing what they're being spoon-fed. And then if you've got a whole slot of third world low IQ invaders who aren't researching this stuff and don't care, they just want free stuff and want to stay here, then you have maybe one or two generations who don't even know who the hell Bill Clinton is. And maybe they don't even know who Obama is. So they're preaching to a whole new choir, right? But a lot of us old farts, that they probably want us out of the way because we are preventing this. We're slowing down. Maybe we're slowing down the inevitability of the left just completely taking over. Muslims just take over the country, and we got Sharia law, and we got mosques everywhere. I don't know, guys. If we don't do something, that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. This guy says Don Lemon has to be the dumbest person in America. He was not an objective reporter. He was an agitator and should be indicted this week. Scott Jennings is spot on when he says, if I were these churchgoers, I would have immediately thought of the church shooting in Minneapolis back in August and been terrified. I don't doubt it, because this happened there in their state. This is probably fresh. Also discusses his viral civil rights discourse moment with Julie Roski, who calls the Democrats strategists and had forgotten that it was Dixiecrats opposed to civil rights in the South at the Samara Bridge. Okay, so we got another clip of Don Lemon and his panel reacting to his 6.5-hour video terrorizing the church. D.L. Hewley, he was one of the guests on Don Lemon's live show last night. It is clear that this administration and MAGA in general despises protesters way more than they despise pedos. The spin speak is on steroid levels like I don't think I've ever seen. Because the Trump administration, ICE, let me get this straight. Let me tell you something. They're trying to get these grapers, rapists, and pedos out of the country. They're in Minnesota, Minneapolis. They're doing this. But these protesters don't want them to. But yet this bozo says that Trump and MAGA care more about the pedos. This doesn't make sense to me. If Trump didn't care about the protesters, he'd have had them scooped up, military already in there. I'm shocked it's gone on this long, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. It has just got to stop. Either he has to do an insurrection act and just pull the military in, boom, have a curfew, all of that stuff. Just do it all. So I don't know how it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, They're just always flipping the script. It's insane to me how they do this. They just, wow. And I think a lot of people are. The people are retarded. And people believe this. They just literally believe it. So here, let's hear what the genius has to say.
What's hard for me to accept is when in Charlottesville they chanted Jews will not replace us. That was protected. There were good people on both sides.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
I have fought and advocated for the right of everybody to say anything they want to. I'm a proponent of the First Amendment. It is clear that this administration and MAGA in general despises protesters way more than they despise pedophiles.
Wow.
What's hard for me to accept is
Yeah, what a goofy thing to say. And then we could all see that most we're tired of the protesters. We are. I mean, if I was in charge, I would have had huge paddy wagons. I would have called out the military. I said, anybody on the street with a stupid sign and a stupid whistle harassing one of my guys, throw them in the back of that bus. Booyah. And keep them there. Keep them there for a couple weeks. I'm serious. Apparently they don't have jobs anyway, that they could be out here acting retarded every day. Retarded every day. There's already been somebody killed. One doofy retard has lost her eye. And apparently that was a guy. That was a girl, by the way. It wasn't a guy. It was a girl. She had been taking hormone pills. Yeah. The one had the big old eye, that the guy that shot a non-lethal, he had a non-lethal weapon, but she was so close to him, it just, bam, man, she's lost her eye, broken socket, all kinds of cray-cray. Yeah, what a retard. But that was a transgender psychopath. So Tim Cass posts, the reason why they went into the church is because there is never any consequences for the left. There is never any accountability. Nick Fuentes explains why the left is emboldened to riot and loot, because they never face consequences for their actions. I hate to have to agree with Nick Fuentes just on that little point, because look, we had the BLM riots, you had the George Floyd, you had all of these different riots, and the cities burned, businesses burned. Did we have, look how the DOJ in the Biden administration went after the January 6 people. Boom! They went boom, 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 boom. They combed through everything they could. They set up committees. They hauled these people in, and they arrested them and threw them in solitary confinement. Now, DOJ, Trump administration right now, has video footage of goofy Don Lemon admitting to everything. You have the lawyer with him. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, the civil rights attorney, civil rights attorney commits these kinds of civil rights crimes. It's so retarded. It is. So now they have all this. They should have already been arrested like yesterday, my guy, or Sunday evening. Just held them. They could just go arrest them and hold them. And they have all this information. They have all of this information. Out of his own words, Don Lemon responds after being put on notice by the Trump DOJ. Trump's DOJ is trying to turn me into an activist, and I'm not. I was not there as an activist at all. I was there simply I can't even talk. Chronologizing what they were doing. That's what he's doing. That's what he was doing, guys. He wasn't there as an activist, but boy, his questions sure were. I mean, if he was there as a journalist, journalists are supposed to be neutral. Like, what are you here for? Ask the other person, what are you here for? You don't go and you're supposed to be neutral. You're reporting what you're seeing, and that's it. That's not what he was doing. Y'all saw that footage. He was in that old man's face just talk. Well, the guy just won't listen to me. He just won't listen to facts. He's not listening to your stupid facts.
To me, it feels like an attack on the First Amendment and trying to, and this is just my assessment, you don't have to agree with this, Mr. Attorney General, but trying to tie me as a journalist as.
Yeah, he's got the Attorney General of Minneapolis on his show. Just saying.
Then to turn me into an activist, and I'm not. I was not there in activism at all. I was there just simply chronicling what they were doing, which is what journalists do all the time. To me, it feels like an attack on.
Wow. That's all I was doing. I was innocent. I wasn't privy to the meeting that it's a secret. And who all was involved. Nope. I didn't know nothing. All right, we got some hypocrisy going on.
How intoxicated?
Y'all recognize him? Y'all recognize that guy? That he was filming himself screaming at the congregation, the ones who were left, and telling them that they're not Christians and that they just live in their nice everyday lives and that they have it so good and all these other people don't. What? Third world low IQ invaders? We can't help it that their country is a crap hole. Don't come drop them off here. We don't want to become a crap hole. Shut up. But anyway, this is him. Now watch this.
Are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Man, I've had a couple of drinks tonight, but that doesn't mean shit.
Just a few.
I'm an American patriot. I can have a couple of drinks.
I'm just curious. I'm just
Shame
curious.
on you, fucking-
I'm just asking questions.
What you guys getting paid?
What are you guys doing? Why are you guys following people around?
One more time.
Following people around.
What you guys getting paid?
What are you guys doing? Why are you guys following people around?
That's all he does. He just goes around from state to state wherever he's called to. He's a professional, peaceful protester. And he follows people around. But he's all like, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all following me around? Talk about calling the kettle black. All right, we're going to wrap it up. There is so much more. I have videos, so much more stacked that was in for today's show. My whole big old stack of stuff, and we could be here another hour going through. And then more information, it's continuously pouring in as I'm doing the show. So this was on True Social, I guess it's called Truth. Donald Trump on Truth Social, I think is what they call it. But anyway, he posted this today, right? And here we go. Just watch the footage of the church raid in Minnesota by the agitators and the insurrectionists. These people are professionals. No person acts the way they act. They are highly trained to scream, rant, rave like lunatics in a certain manner, just like they are doing. They are troublemakers who should be thrown in jail or thrown out of the country. I agree. The first to go should be Waltz and fake sleazebag Imar Omar. He just can't stand her. Who is supposedly worth over $30 million, even though she's never had anything but a government job. Investigate these corrupt politicians and do it now. Do it now. He wants them all investigated. Ihar Omar, she was at some committee and somebody posted it. I think I saw it like 2 days ago. And she was talking about, obviously, America and the whole immigration thing. And she said, we didn't just come here and now we're in this GD. She said, God damn it. She said, God damn America. I was like, what? And a lot of people were pissed. They're like, who does she think she is? She's been here all of 5 minutes. And she's cursing and damning our country that her sleazy ass is in here? Yeah. I was like, wow. Wow. She has no respect for this country, no respect for Americans. They will never assimilate. She's a practicing Muslim. She worships a pedophile. Yeah, I said it. I said it. But guys, like at the beginning of the video, America wants to see action. We want to see action now. This all them making the rounds on all the news things going, yeah, we're gonna get mug shots and we've got his video. Well, let me tell you something. The whole world has Don Lemon's video. That means nothing. I want you to grab his cell phone, all the other people who are involved, their cell phone, all their communications, that this was a conspiracy. This was organized. They planned this, and then they executed this. And they should go to prison for 20, 30 years. Like and subscribe. Don't be retarded.